Hello everybody, my name's Starrapter, and I'm so happy you could join me for another episode of This Week in Star Wars Canon. Every week I break down all the latest in the Star Wars continuity. This could be anything such as TV series, the novels, the comics, and to the video games. And with this week we get the long-awaited crossover called Star Wars Screaming Citadel. This is the crossover between the Star Wars comics as well as the Doctor Aphra comics. Last year we got our first Star Wars crossover in the canon. That was Vader Down. That was between Darth Vader and the Star Wars as a crossover. So this is the first issue, and it sets up this whole arc, and it's actually written by Kieran Gillen, who does the Doctor Aphra series, and it has artwork for this specific issue done by Marco Cicchetto, who's done plenty of work in Star Wars. He has done the Obi-Wan and Anakin miniseries as well as the Shattered Empire miniseries, and he's also signed up to do the artwork on the Captain Phasma comic that's going to tie into The Last Jedi coming out later this year. So diving into the plot without giving too much away, so this story picks up where Luke is on this new temporary base, and he is approached by Doctor Aphra after being in a bar fight, and she comes up and kind of saves the day for Luke. And they realize that, you know, they kind of need each other because she approaches Luke with this mission. She finds out that Luke has some kind of trace to the Jedi, and she has gotten this crystal where, if you had read the Doctor Aphra series so far, it goes into what happened with this crystal that she now has. It basically tied to the ancient Jedi Order, the Order Aspectu, and so she needs somebody to kind of unlock this power, and she kind of figures out, oh, Luke's been on his own, he's been training himself, and that is going to be his reward. Like, he might actually get like a sentient kind of instructor rather than reading through these journals that he's been doing this whole time. So it's in his best interest to kind of help Dr. Aphra. So that's how their relationship is kind of formed. So in order to unlock the secrets of this crystal, they have to go to this planet where the Screaming Citadel is. And the reason why they are going there is because there is this queen that once every year, she has this big party and she accepts gifts from all these different people in order for stuff that they want or something like that. I'm not really sure on the story quite yet. It's a little bit muddy, but regardless, they have to show up and give this queen. So Dr. Aphra's plan is to, you know, show Luke to this queen because he is a Jedi and he is the last of the Jedi pretty much. So that'll hopefully gain her the favor to unlock the secrets of this crystal. And where this story basically leaves off is they go to this castle, and it happens exactly like Dr. Aphra wanted to be planned. Luke gets in a little bit of a scuffle with somebody at this party and force pushes him without really kind of realizing what he's doing. Queen sees it and it's like, okay, I want this person now because he is strong in force. And she says, you know, he is a Jedi. And then they go back to the rooms, Dr. Aphra and Luke. In the meantime, this queen is kind of setting up this sacrifice kind of thing where she is sucking the soul essence out of these people all around her. And this is where the story gets really crazy, guys. Like, this is where the dark Gothic kind of stuff comes into play, the themes where it's like almost like she's a vampire. She looks very similar to a Night Sister. And while this is all happening, you have Leia, Han, and Sana, who are back at that rebel base that Luke was on originally, and they are trying to figure out where Luke has gone. And they find this droid, and they're talking to this droid, and they find out that Luke was last seen with Dr. Aphra. So now they're going to be out searching for him because they think that maybe he got kidnapped by Dr. Aphra, like what happened originally in the Vader Down comic series. So that is basically the story of this very first issue of the crossover in a nutshell. So going over some things I enjoyed about this issue. First off, I like how in the beginning it was a Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of feel. I mean, literally it was Luke in a bar, he was getting beat up, and then Dr. Aphra shows up and saves the day. Even the architecture in that place looked very similar to like something out of Nepal in Raiders of the Lost Ark. There's a lot of wooden architecture and things of that nature, so that was really, really fun. And, you know, just jumping off of that, I really like the relationship between Aphra and Luke, and Aphra is just a brilliant, brilliant being. I mean, simply because she figures out that Luke is actually Force sensitive, he could be a Jedi. She knows that he's been on his own and that she has the one thing that he would need, and how to create this symbiotic kind of, you know, relationship where they both have goals and they could both help each other out. And it seems like it kind of worked pretty organically, like that relationship, because, you know, the last time we seen them, they were pretty much at each other's throats because, you know, Luke knows that she was Darth Vader's, you know, servant, and she's saying, I'm not with him anymore pretty much, so they get over that pretty quickly. And it's just really funny because the whole time Doctor Aphra is pretty much just kind of teasing Luke throughout this, kind of as like a sisterly kind of vibe. It's pretty funny. Something else I really liked is just how played up this Gothic vibe is. I mean, it's really crazy. Like I said, at the end of this issue, you meet the Queen, and a lot of the villagers in this planet, they're just like emaciated. They're just very starving looking. They're very shriveled, very thin, and you quickly find out by the end of the issue that, you know, she's literally sucking the soul essence out of these people. So it's a very vampire kind of vibe, a Dracula kind of vibe, and they definitely hit that hard because, honestly, we haven't really gotten that in Star Wars yet, at least in the canon. Now, I don't know about the EU or the Legends material. I'm sure there's something like that out there, but so far they're doing a pretty decent job at it. I'm not going to say it's terrible. I'm not going to say it's the best thing ever, but it's definitely interesting. And to help that along is Mark Cicchetto's freaking amazing art. Like, this guy is great. I'm so happy he does so much Star Wars work anymore because his Obi-Wan and Anakin work was great, and it really reminded me of that. Like, he's so good with his environments. Like, when he does those big layouts of the planetscapes and all that, it is something else, guys. Like, he is definitely one of the best artists in Star Wars, period. So that's really good. And just one little quirky thing I just want to mention is, I don't know in Star Wars if there's ever been like a droid communicator. I thought that was kind of cool because like Leia was talking to this little droid, and she talked in this communicator, and then the droid was literally getting translated through this like communicator thing. I thought that was cool. I had never really known that was happening in Star Wars, but hey, there's something new maybe in canon, so I don't know. So that is going to do it for another episode of This Week in Star Wars Canon, but I want to know what you guys thought of it, so feel free to leave a comment in that comment section below. Also, I've recently hit 200 subscribers, so I want to thank everybody out there that continues to watch these videos, that continues to support my content. In appreciation for that, I will be doing a Q&A for the end of the week, so please send me in all of your questions. It doesn't have to be just Star Wars. It could be movies, TV, games, etc. So anything, as long as it's not politics and religion, please send me in your questions. I'm Starrapter. I want to thank you guys for watching, and may the Force be with you always. So, did you like the video? Then make sure you rate it a thumbs up, and if you did that, go over there, hit that Starrapter head to subscribe to my channel. Doing so will keep you up to speed on all of my latest content. Speaking of which, you can see a couple of my recent uploads down below. I'm also on social media, so what are you waiting for? Let's start nerding out.